Advisors often spend a considerable amount of time with their clients explaining Social Security spousal benefits. Well, the fact is that survivor benefits can have as much of an impact as spousal benefits. My guest, Brian Gray with APO Financial in Colorado. Brian, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Scott.
Brian, do couples understand the lost income upon one of them passing away, typically?
You know, Scott, that is a great question, because what we find time and time again, people actually just understand what they're going to get as a couple. You know, they look at their Social Security benefits and they're actually seeing what can we get, but they never think the phase two on that decision is what's the impact on my income with Social Security when the first one of us passes away.
So do most people actually have a plan to address this lost income?
You know, that's the scary part, is that we find too many times that actually people do not even have a plan to address that. One thing we have is denials of strong emotion that actually prevents us from thinking about the pain of losing our spouse. But when we lose our spouse, there's also that financial impact that we have, which is the lost Social Security income, which is so generally, as a whole, it's the smaller of the two that are going to go away when the first one of us passes away. It's not necessarily who passes away, but it's the smaller of the two, and if both Social Security benefits are equal, then one of the benefits is going to go away. So there's a lost income in there, and what we find time and time again is people actually never address that situation because we don't want to believe that one of us can pass away early.
Talk about taking benefits early or taking benefits later.
You know, there's multiple choices on how to take it. I understand it's not like an A, B, C, D answer, but when we look at it, if you look at life expectancy and people in your family live to 70, 75, 80, 85 or longer, taking it at 62 can actually be the wrong choice, because we always say is if everybody in your family died at 65, then waiting till 70, delaying your benefit in other words, would not be the right choice, especially if you're unhealthy today. But you have to look at a lot of different things, like how healthy you are, if you're married, how healthy your spouse is, life expectancy on both sides of the family. And we look at aunts and uncles and grandparents to really look into that detail to figure out what is the most optimal choice, because sometimes just taking it early or taking it later may be the wrong choice depending on your actual situation.
Well, finally, in this situation now we have a gap of guaranteed income. How should people fill this?
And it's so important because there's lots of strategies you can actually utilize to actually account for that. A lot of people just think, well, if I buy a life insurance policy, that's one way to backfill in some lost income. That's one solution, but if you're unhealthy, that's not a solution if you don't have life insurance in place. So looking at it, that might be one of the options. Another option is to actually look at some of the money that you've saved aside for retirement. If you're trying to look at replacing that income on a guaranteed basis, you really have to look at one or two different products. One would either be a fixed annuity or a fixed indexed annuity, where you can look at either amortization, or what we prefer is more using an income rider that actually will guarantee a certain amount of income depending on what year you're trying to solve for.
Brian, thanks again.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Scott.
That's Brian Gray with APO Financial in Colorado. This is Retirement News Online. Thanks for watching.